After 4 years together, Josh and Maggie break up. The girl hands her ex-boyfriend an aquarium with a lizard and shows him the door. And, as if by Murphy's Law, the guy immediately gets caught in a rain that's falling right over his head. Having lost his girlfriend, Josh falls into depression. That's when his best friend Mike and his sister Liz come to his aid. Mike lends him his super trendy shirt, in his opinion, and gives advice about the evening date that Liz, deciding to set him up with her rich friend from Sweden, has arranged. In the evening, Josh goes to a bar where Liz praises her friend. She's well-read, smart, and has a strong character. And at that moment, she's outside, rummaging through a trash can. Shocked, Josh sees something digging in the garbage. It turns out the rich beauty is a troll who prefers antifreeze. Josh tries to run away, but Liz urges her brother to take a look at himself. He doesn't go to the gym and is jobless. What woman would like that? These arguments make Josh invite the troll girl to a table in the cafe. A passerby offers to buy a flower for the lady, and the grateful troll girl eats the rose. Josh talks about his friend and accidentally uses the term trolling, which terribly angers the Swedish beauty. She falls under the table and bites Josh's leg, while Liz tells their mother about her brother's successful date. The troll girl chases him around the bar. Eventually, Josh has to apologize for the insults. Disheartened, Josh returns home when his parents call, wanting to know the results as they too met on a blind date. Then Josh calls his ex-girlfriend. Maggie invites him to a party at her place. Full of hope, Josh runs to her house, buying wine on the way. At the entrance, his friend Mike catches up and praises him for showing up despite Maggie dating Adolf Hitler, who deceived everyone about his death and had been hiding in Argentina since the end of World War II. Now, Hitler is 126 years old. Josh is perplexed that no one cares about the age difference or the fact that millions of Jews were exterminated on Hitler's orders, but Mike attributes it all to jealousy. Then, Maggie introduces her new boyfriend, who jokes a lot about his military exploits. Josh can't stand it and reminds everyone of Hitler's crimes, for which the gathered crowd scolds him. He has to apologize for the second time that evening. Completely broken, Josh heads to the subway to go home. He sees a girl on a bench. After hesitating, he starts talking to her. Seeing her smile, he sits with her in the same car. They chat pleasantly for a while, but soon they approach her stop. Before leaving, Laura suddenly gives him her business card. Then, the world around Josh changes. He receives a call from a prestigious foundation whose scientists record every step he took leading to such success. Meeting in the subway. After all, no one meets that way anymore. Then, US President Barack Obama calls, sharing how he met his future wife, Michelle. Outside his house, reporters and proud parents await, happy with his achievement. Josh throws away a photo with his ex-girlfriend Maggie and releases the lizard, which is immediately eaten by a crow. In the morning, Josh decides to write to Laura, but can't find the right words. Mike advises writing something naughty, but Liz, on the contrary, suggests writing a romantic message. The emergency center gets involved in the situation. Ministers and generals discuss the message text. Everyone suggests their own ideas, but in the end, Josh writes in simple words and asks the girl to meet on Friday. The whole world awaits the girl's response. Passers-by watch the situation on TV screens. African residents listen to the radio by the fire, and generals monitor the situation at the headquarters. More than a minute passes, and when no one expects a response anymore, one arrives, causing universal rejoicing. On Friday, Josh goes on a date with Laura. The couple sits at a cafe table and discusses their meeting, but they can't find any topics for conversation. After struggling for a couple of hours, the boy and girl go their separate ways. On the way, Josh receives a bunch of messages from friends and parents wishing him a good date. And at home, he is greeted by a symphony orchestra whose musicians prepared to play romantic tunes all night for the happy couple. But alas, the date was unsuccessful. Josh suffers more and more from the lack of relationships. It gets to the point where even his right hand doesn't attract him. Liz decides to help her brother change his life and advises him to start taking care of himself, beginning the next day with a jog. He agrees, but in the evening, Mike suggests going to a bar, and Josh agrees. Mike immediately manages to make acquaintances with attractive girls, but Josh can't seem to do the same. Josh Josh treats a girl to a drink, but she quickly disappears after receiving a glass of alcoholic beverage. The guy is depressed and asks his friend to teach him how to meet girls. He reveals a terrible secret. He can hypnotize with his eyes. On the day of coming of age, a magician comes to everyone and teaches this skill. It's strange that Josh was missed. Disheartened, Josh is about to head home when a girl with glasses comes up and suggests having fun with him. Josh agrees, and the rest of the time in the bar is very fun. The girl agrees to go home with the guy, but when it comes to the main event, Josh suddenly discovers that his device is missing. The guy runs to the bathroom and starts calling all the places he visited that evening. One of the bars tells him they found his loss and he can pick it up tomorrow. But for today, they advise entertaining the girl with a long romantic conversation. However, Josh's new girlfriend isn't happy with this arrangement and she leaves. In the morning, Josh arrives at the bar before it opens. Suddenly, Mike shows up there too, boasting about his adventures last night. He came here because he forgot his credit card yesterday. Then, the bartender comes out and throws 2 identical bags to the guys. It becomes clear that Mike also lost his device. In the following days, Liz tries to find a girlfriend for her brother by shooting a social ad, because in her opinion, a bachelor's life is just trash. Any girl can change this by calling the number and inviting Josh on a date, as this is real charity. A few days later, his sister organizes a dinner for her friends, inviting Josh too. She introduces him to several couples, and before the brother can feel awkward, the doorbell rings. Liz introduces him to her friend Maud, who is as single as he is. Immediately, all 4 couples of guests pounce on Josh, interrogating him about his opinion of the new girl. Liz seats the couple on a single chair at the head of the table. As dinner starts, everyone suddenly finds a reason to step out, leaving the couple alone at the table. Josh and Maud feel awkward, but decide to start eating anyway. They soon realize that all the guests are secretly watching them. Josh starts a conversation about movies, which infuriates the guests, as they had given them time to become a couple. The guests menacingly advance on the pair, demanding they become a couple, and then they run away. Following this, the guests continue to chase them, demanding they become a couple whenever they catch up. Right outside Josh's house, 2 guests catch up and demand that they become a couple again. Josh throws a metal disc at them, decapitating them. Then, Josh and Maud hide in his apartment. Initially, they are outraged by Liz and her friend's behavior, but after some thought, decide to fulfill their wish. The satisfied guests watch them from the street. The next day, Josh's mom invites him to a cafe and asks about his new girlfriend, but he doesn't want to talk about it, as nothing is decided between them. So, his mom drugs his tea with a sleeping pill. Josh wakes up in his old children's room, tied to a chair with electrodes on the most sensitive parts of his body. His mother is determined to extract his testimony at any cost and starts torturing him. She needs information about the new girlfriend, but Josh refuses to talk. She demands at least a photo from social media, but they aren't even friends. Then, Liz appears and easily opens Maud's social media page. The mother plans to contact her son's girlfriend, but Josh quickly changes the subject, mentioning that Liz's boyfriend proposed to her. The mother instantly focuses on her daughter instead, allowing Josh to escape. Time passes, and Mike notices that Josh isn't very happy with his new girlfriend. Maud texts him every minute, reporting everything that happens to her. She insists he accompany her to comedy shows that he dislikes. At their last meeting, she suggested going on a hiking trip. Her friend's boyfriend plays the guitar, and Maud sings, so Josh expects great times by the fire. Desperate, Josh asks Mike for help. He advises simply not writing to her anymore. After all, he didn't promise her anything. But then Josh receives a message from Maud with photos of the items she bought for the picnic. This terrifies Josh. The phone goes silent and he thinks she got the message. But just as he starts to relax, there's a knock at the door. Maud demands he let her in to see the canopy she bought. Mike suggests a radical solution. Take a potion that will make him appear dead. Initially, Josh refuses, but upon hearing Maud's voice, he swallows the potion and immediately falls lifeless. Mike opens the door and the girl screams in horror. Josh comes to in a coffin. His parents weep above him, and Mike promises to dig him out. Maud places the canopy she bought on his chest, and Liz reads a farewell speech, permitting them to set it on fire. His father approaches with a torch to the pyre, which turns out to be the coffin. Flames rise. Relatives weep on the benches when Josh, unable to bear it, jumps out of the coffin. The fire is extinguished, and Josh immediately confesses to Maud that he can't be with her. She gets upset and leaves. Meanwhile, Mike tries to shake Josh down for the money spent on the potion, but seeing the ashes in his hands, he decides it was a gift. This ends episode 4. Each episode of the series is built on ridiculous situations, completely defying logic, but that's exactly why the audience likes the show, and it managed to last 3 seasons.